What happens when arrogance and prejudice collide with genius and grit? In a small biotech firm in Silicon Valley, a single decision sparked a chain of events that brought a thriving company to its knees. This is the story of a brilliant but underestimated employee, a power-hungry new boss, and a downfall that left everyone questioning. How could one mistake cost so much? My name is Tom, and I was a biochemical engineer at Horizon Biotech, a mid-sized firm known for cutting-edge medical devices. Our star player was a man I'll call Walter, a 70-year-old genius confined to a wheelchair. Walter wasn't just smart. He was the backbone of our operation. He'd invented most of the machines we used, from DNA sequencers to automated lab processors, many of which were unique to our company. Despite his social awkwardness, Walter was loved by everyone. His office, cluttered with blueprints and coffee mugs, was a testament to his relentless creativity. At his age, most would have retired, but Walter thrived on solving problems, and we all respected him for it. Everything changed when our longtime CEO, a steady hand who valued Walter's contributions, retired. Enter Margaret, as we'd soon call her, the new sheriff in town. Margaret, in her mid-40s, swept into Horizon Biotech with a mission to prove herself in a male-dominated industry. I get it, biotech isn't always welcoming to women in leadership, and she needed to establish authority. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. Margaret chose the wrong way. From day one, she turned the company upside down. She restructured teams, changed workflows, and micromanaged every department, all to flex her power. The lab, once a well-oiled machine, descended into chaos. Deadlines slipped, morale tanked, and getting work done felt like wading through molasses. But her worst move? Targeting Walter. Nobody knew why Margaret had it out for him. Maybe his age or disability made him an easy mark. Maybe she saw his quiet demeanor as weakness. Whatever the reason, she zeroed in on him like a hawk. One afternoon, I overheard her berating him behind closed doors. Her voice echoed through the hallway. "Walter, you just sit there all day, scribbling on papers. You think being old and in a wheelchair gives you a free pass? Not on my watch." There was a pause. Walter's soft-spoken reply didn't carry, but Margaret wasn't done. "You think I can't run my own company? I don't care about your contract. You're a relic who's never seen a computer. Pack your things and get out by the end of the day, or I'll have security drag you out." The office fell silent. Walter, the man who'd built our success, was fired. He packed his belongings, a few notebooks, a photo of his late wife, and decades of expertise, and wheeled out without a word. The mood in the lab was grim. Margaret had crossed a line, and any goodwill she might have had evaporated. What Margaret didn't know, what none of us fully grasped until days later, was that firing Walter was the beginning of the end for Horizon Biotech. Walter wasn't just an employee, he was the legal owner of the patents for our core technologies. When he joined the company 20 years earlier, he'd filed those patents in his own name, not the company's. His contract had a clear clause. While employed, his patents were licensed exclusively to Horizon Biotech. But if he left, whether by retirement or termination, the patents went with him, unless he signed them over. Retirement would have triggered a transfer, but Margaret's impulsive firing voided that. Walter, humiliated and betrayed, had no intention of playing nice. A week later, the fallout hit. Our legal team delivered the bad news. Without Walter's patents, we couldn't use his machines or processes. Overnight, our production lines ground to a halt. Projects worth millions, devices that could have saved lives, were scrapped. The lab looked like a ghost town, with half our equipment dismantled to avoid patent infringement. Margaret was livid, screaming at the lawyers. How could this happen? Why wasn't I told? The answer was simple. She hadn't bothered to read Walter's contract. Desperate to save face, Margaret tried to backtrack. She sent Walter gift baskets, voicemails begging him to return, even an offer for a raise. Walter ignored her. Why would he come back after being insulted and discarded? Instead, he took his talents and his patents to our biggest rival, Apex Innovations. Apex didn't hesitate. They hired Walter on the spot, knowing his inventions would give them a market edge. While Horizon Biotech floundered, Apex surged ahead, rolling out new products based on Walter's designs. Our competitors were thriving, and we were sinking. The board of directors was furious. Margaret's 3-month reign had cost the company millions in lost revenue, legal fees, and market share. But Walter wasn't done. He filed a wrongful termination lawsuit, citing Margaret's public insults about his age and disability, both protected under federal law. The entire office had heard her outburst, and several of us provided statements to support Walter's case. The court ruled in his favor, awarding him a hefty settlement. Horizon Biotech's finances, already battered, took another hit. By the end, Margaret had no choice but to step down. Her dream of proving herself as a powerhouse CEO had turned into a nightmare. In just 90 days, she'd transformed a thriving company into a cautionary tale. Employees jumped ship, including me. I took a job at a quieter lab across town, grateful to escape the drama. Horizon Biotech limped along for a few more months, but eventually filed for bankruptcy. Meanwhile, Apex Innovations, powered by Walter's genius, became an industry leader. Walter, I heard, was happier than ever, mentoring young engineers and enjoying the respect he deserved. Looking back, I'm struck by how one man's quiet brilliance held a company together and how one woman's arrogance tore it apart. Walter's story isn't just about revenge, it's about justice. He didn't set out to destroy Horizon Biotech, but he refused to let Margaret's cruelty go unanswered. And in the end, he won. What do you think about Walter's story? Was Margaret's downfall a fair consequence of her actions, or did Walter's lawsuit go too far? How would you handle injustice in your own life, through confrontation, legal action, or something else? Share your thoughts in the comments below, especially on the broader issues of workplace bullying and standing up for what's right. Your perspective matters, so let's get the conversation started.